Hey guys, Stephanie here with the Aeroponic Tower channel. It is October, mid-October. The weather turned on us so fast. We went from summer to actually really cold very quickly. So I want to take you guys on an October tower garden tour and show you what's growing. And I am preparing to move these towers into the garage soon, but we're not there yet. I'm hoping to hold off for a couple of weeks, but I've got some towers turning over with some fall crops that I had hoped I would have growing about 3 weeks ago. I've just been behind on the schedule with those, and those may continue to stay outside until it's absolutely too cold for them, where we're having consistent freezes every night. But a lot of the things like the peppers and the tomatoes and all of those plants, eggplant that are warm crops, cucumbers, those are going to need to come into the garage in the next couple of weeks. But let me show you just the abundance and the fun crossover this season brings, where we have all of this summer veg, but we also have incredible fall crops coming in so fast. Some of these fall crops, like this Emiko cabbage, they are coming in so fast. This has only been in my tower for a couple of weeks, and it's just incredible to me how fast the cool weather crop produce can produce for you on a tower garden. So let's hop around the towers, take a look at what's growing, and dive into everything that you can grow in a tower garden in October. All right, guys, I'm gonna try and keep this on my tripod as much as possible so I don't make you guys car sick. I have found I'm terrible at walking with the camera and keeping it stable. Here we have cucumber. These are a gherkin cucumber, and they're doing great. And this is as big as they get. They're those little Thanksgiving gherkins, and I'm actually gonna pickle these for Thanksgiving. I'm super excited about these. It's a dwarf variety, or a container variety, a bush variety of cucumber, and they're just super fun to grow, and it's doing amazing. The cucumbers have been super happy that it's cooled off here. All right, and I'm gonna have to walk around with you guys, so I will try to be careful. Somebody said the other day they liked that I shared my towers when they're dirty. You know, I never want to give you guys the false assumption about these towers. You're still gardening. You're still gonna have messy. This is algae. It's just a side effect of water with nutrients coming in contact with light. It's completely harmless and completely normal. And some of my towers are pretty messy right now. Life is busy. I'm a homemaker and a homeschooling mom first, and growing all our food and making it from scratch, and then trying to share it with you guys, and all of that adds up to messy towers sometimes. I also wanted to say I share a lot of my daily recipes and my daily life with the towers on my Instagram stories or on my Facebook stories, and I'll put a link to both accounts if you want to follow along daily with some of that stuff. It might answer some questions in shorter videos that just pop up daily. So here, let's just start at the bottom. I've got young Emiko Napa cabbage going in down here, and this is a bok choy. I forget the name of this variety, but I grow it every year. I'll pop it up here somewhere on the image, and really fun. It grows quick and it's so delicious. I still have sweet peppers. These are just a little green snacking pepper. That's a sweet pepper. Lots of those coming in still. And then as we move up the tower, this is a cauliflower. And that's a cauliflower. So we've got young things. That's part of my interval planting. I have some mature eggplant, and no flowers on that one, but it's ready to start flowering. Oh, here's one. So this will be its first flower. Over here we have some lettuce. This is just a bundle of greens that I wanted to have. Some kale. Up along the top here we have my rosemary and lavender. Both of those, oh wait, backwards. That one's the lavender, this one's the rosemary. Both are doing amazing, and both are just super fun to have on the tower. I've actually been juicing the rosemary. Medicinal, so good. I've just really enjoyed that. Over here I have some more cauliflower, some celery. I ate some celery the other day, and it is so incredibly sweet, and I don't know what's going on with it, but it's absolutely delicious and so sweet. Through here we have green beans, we have more cucumbers, vining down here, taking over this pepper. Not sure what kind of pepper that is, but it's just getting started, and I need to go detach my cucumber from my pepper here later. I probably need to put a cage on this one. We'll see if I can get around to that. And then the cabbage I showed you earlier, that's the Emiko. Here's some celery that I left outside and it's struggling. I think it'll pop back, but that's why it looks so sad. I just abused some of my starts. And then on this side, we have more abused celery that I'm not giving up hope on. Another Emiko cabbage, more eggplant that's just starting to fruit. We've got our jalapeno peppers that are ripening. Another small eggplant. This is one that will produce fruit for us over the winter. It hasn't even gotten to the fruiting stage yet. And we're back to cucumbers. All right, on this tower, this is my home tower. And on the bottom 16 rows, I did peas. And I really just wanted a bunch of peas in our lives. I've got some browning because this tower got turned off for a little bit by accident. Totally fine now. And I have just found this is what peas look like near the base. I've never been alarmed by it. Somebody said it might need more nitrogen, but even in my gardens, that's what the base of peas look like. The part we typically see looks like this healthy, rich, abundant pea. It's just near where it grows. It tends to be like that. I don't know if it's just because it gets shaded or what it might be. I don't worry about that. The peas are doing fabulous. Oh, and now the sun's coming out. It was just raining. As we go up this tower, I have a baby greens extension kit, and the abundance is real, friends. The basil, I'm probably going to harvest all of that to juice this week, and I've got some things going to seed. This is a version of watercress. It's peppercress, and then I've got all this gorgeous lettuce. I've got stinging nettle that needs to be harvested. Look out for a video. I'm going to do a whole video on my stinging nettle, how I use it. Throughout here, you can just see we've got dill. We've got more dill. We've got arugula. We've got cilantro. We've got lettuce, oregano, chives galore, bok choys. If we go around, I've got watercress and more lettuce and more parsley along the top. Stinging nettle that just nipped me, stung me. Lettuce, gorgeous lettuce, chives. These are some lettuce. When they start doing this, they're trying to go to seed. So I'm going to harvest a lot of this tonight for a big salad. But it's just a madhouse of food. So I need to do some harvesting and some pruning of some things like the nettle this week. Look at the gorgeous thyme. So beautiful. More dill. And those same plants kind of repeat. It's basically lettuces, herbs, cilantros, chai maisai. Gorgeous. Absolutely. So much abundance right here on this one tower. Look at this lettuce. So crispy. On this tower here, we have some dwarf tomato varieties. I got some dwarfs started and wanted to make sure they had some time to get established. I don't love the nature of them right now. I feel like they've dealt with a little bit of moisture issues, so I'm going to start some new ones just to make sure that over the winter we have an abundance of tomatoes. But these are my dwarf tomatoes. Never be afraid to start a new seed. One seed doesn't cost very much, and just in case, see, here's what I'm talking about. There's some spots on these that I'm not super crazy about. I think it'll be fine, but you never know. So they're gorgeous regardless. And over here we have lots of jalapenos. These are almost done. I'll be harvesting all of those and taking that plant out. We've got newly blooming eggplant over here. The eggplant on these towers is unreal. This is the rest of that jalapeno. I'm making sriracha, and you need red peppers, red jalapenos for that. So I'm letting them all mature. We have leeks along the top, and they're ready to harvest. They're doing really great. This is a more mature pepper plant. It's already been fruiting, but it's about to set again. This is the patio baby eggplant. I have younger versions of this plant ready for the winter, but if you look, this thing just does not stop. Look at all of these blossoms. And this has provided fruit for us all summer long. Patio Baby is incredible. Some peppers, some turnips here, and more jalapenos, and some cauliflower up there. This tower is a little bit sad. This tower's ready to be turned over, most of it, and the cold weather has just not been a friend to this tower, and it's just age. So here I have a young jalapeno. So this one's just starting to fruit. This is one of my younger plants to replace one of the mature ones like I just mentioned over there. I've got turnips. I made a video on turnips and how I like to seed them now, but I've been able to harvest one turnip off of this already by multi-seeding them. I've got a couple that have single seeds and just producing one bulb. I've got some basil going to flower. I have new basil plants started, so I haven't been really worried about staying on top of deflowering those. I'm gonna juice these. Along the top, we have gorgeous cabbage. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is where interval planting happens, where I've got fall crops going in as these summer crops are on their way out. This is dottle pepper, and I've just been harvesting every day and letting this mature as much as possible to get the last bits of fruit. These are the end and the last of my shishito peppers, Thai basil. There's some young cabbage down here, and then we've got some peppers, this is frog eggplant. It's a Thai eggplant. It did not like the cold, and it's just done. It's got, I don't know, pretty abundance of food on it. When they turn that color, that means you can collect the seeds from it and save the seeds. These are the ones we want to eat. We don't want to eat that one. And I'm going to harvest these today and pull this plant out because it is time. Celery. This is the celery I ate off of the other day, and I've got 2 of them in here. And they kind of got stunted and squatty because it was so hot for a little bit, but they taste so incredible. I could not even believe how sweet it was, because celery is not typically sweet. Along the back here, I mean, look at the peppers. All the banana peppers, I'll pickle those. So much food. Pimento pepper. Those are ripening out. No idea what this pepper is. I can't find the name of it, so if you know, post it in the comments, please. We got a young parsley, part of our interval planting. A beet that needs to be pulled out. I have switched how I do my root vegetables, so make sure to watch that video. I don't do them like this anymore. And some kale. Young kale up there. Here, we've got squash. Oh my gosh, do you see these? Squash bugs. That's so crazy. I haven't seen them in a while. So we've got some squash. Been battling some powdery mildew on this plant, but I'm just gonna prune it and spray my special spray on it. We've got another squash plant here. I actually harvested 5 squash the other day off of one in the back. This is my dark purple pepper. And the thing with small peppers, I have harvested some large ones, but sometimes you get these small ones. It can happen when there's extreme heat when it's flowering, and we did have some extreme heat, and I think there's some other reasons I'm not familiar with. I don't worry about that. I just eat them. I think they're great for, they're softer skinned, and I just use them for snacks and dips and hummus and all those things. Lavender, this one was buried all summer, so I didn't get any size to it, but now it's getting front row sun. Some peppers that are, we've been eating off most of the peppers on this tower all summer, so you can tell they're pretty much coming to an end here. They're tired. Look at these. Pepper abundance. Some young kale on the bottom. Some green beans that are pretty spent. I just started all new green beans. That one's gonna come out. Along the top, we have cauliflower, babies, getting ready to be the shining star of this tower. And again, peppers, peppers, peppers. Most of these, except for this one, this variety just got started. Most of these peppers are pretty much done. And we're finishing off. I also have some leeks on the bottom here. This tower is being cleaned. I just have some broners in there, and that's going to be cauliflower, broccoli. And then this tower needs to be just shut down for the winter. I'm not going to grow on all my towers in the garage. I'm probably going to do 8. So I kept saying I was going to clean this one out, and I really wanted to grow a fall crop of cauliflower on it, and I just couldn't make that work into my schedule. So I've actually just been coming out here and harvesting any good tomatoes that ripened. There's still a few, isn't that funny? And I'll just clean this up and put it away for until next winter, or until next spring. Over on this tower, we have cucumbers. I've eaten so many cucumbers off of this plant. It's probably ready to be replaced pretty soon. And I can tell because it starts to look a little ick. But I'll keep it on there until, you know, it doesn't look great. But I've harvested at least 15 cucumbers off of this, and I have new starts ready to go to take its place, so it's okay if I need to pull this one out. Back here I have a giant stinging nettle, and look for my video if you're curious about that. Here's a patio baby just getting started. So eggplant year-round doesn't seem to be a problem because I can't stop them from growing. They just keep growing. They just keep growing and growing. Here we have a zucchini, and it's a yellow variety. And there's our baby, our female flowers. I just hand pollinated this one. And over here we have a zucchini. So we're getting squash still, and it's cold. It's like 55 today. So that's incredible. More squash. Up here we have another dottle pepper umbrella. I call them the umbrellas because they just like shoot out the top. These need to come out. All the peppers on this tower need to come out as well, but we're gonna give them another couple weeks. We want to get all our harvest first. Some lettuce, I just threw some fun things in there, and then young parsley, and there's our nettle and more pepper plants. Oh, and a beet up here at the top, a little baby. Right, and our last tower, kind of messy over here, don't judge me, we're in a project mode. We actually took out all of the gardens. I'll show you guys that actually, and we're doing things different next year. So this is my other home unit. If you guys go back a couple of videos, you'll see just 3 weeks ago I put this tower together and planted it, and in 3 weeks this is what I have. It is incredible. And I've actually harvested 6 plants off of this for juicing. A lot of my Mizuna, or a lot of my Mabuna was already harvested off of this. So we've got onion. This is actual bulbing onion, so not green onions. I'm growing these. Nope, that one's a green onion. I've got bulbing onion in here somewhere to create just onion bulbs. We've got young parsley, Chai Maisai, gorgeous leaf lettuce, red oak leaf lettuce, a combination of lettuce and bok choys, my aloe that's going in and out of being happy. It has its days, not giving up on it. Still very much alive, it just doesn't like the cold, so it needs to go in the garage. A new beet I just stuck in, more lettuce, we've been eating off of these. Up here we've got our bok choys. We've got our Golden Beauty. This is a bok choy. Absolutely gorgeous. These get gigantic and really thick and full. I won't let them get that way in the tower because this is the baby greens extension. I grew these so I could have some quick cabbages, but they do, just know, they do get much bigger than this. But they grow so fast and they're so delicious. More oak leaf lettuce, more butter lettuce, all the things. So many wonderful things on this tower. I also have some baby greens I put in and some turnips. And turnips grown in the shade, you'll notice get much bigger leaves, or grown inside. Much bigger leaves than when they're grown in full sun like my other ones. This is in partial shade. The sun's only on this until 3, and then it's in the shade every day. But isn't that incredible? So before I hop off, I'll just show the disaster, and then we can look back next year. If you're still following along, you can see how gorgeous this area is going to be. This is my edible permaculture landscaping. medicinal herbs. There's over 30 medicinal herbs in this area. This is an apple tree, mulberry tree, aronia berry, blueberries, so many berries in this area. Lots and lots of food going on in here. It's just kind of overgrown and messy and got weedy because I had to turn off my attention from this. But one thing that was really cool in this garden, and I turned off my attention because I had to focus on the towers and just creating content this year. That's one thing, you know, I feel like I'm saying I'm busy all the time. But one of the things I was sharing the other day on my stories, and definitely follow my Instagram stories if you want to see how I eat all this food and daily harvest and all of that. But I was sharing that, you know, I'm a homemaker and cook our own food and grow our own food and homeschool, and I've been doing all those things for many years, but I was doing them without you, and now I'm doing them with you, and I love doing them with you, but it requires creating content and just a lot more time. So I was like, why don't I have time to do my gardens? And I've just had to put a couple of things on the back burner to kind of launch this channel and move to the next phase on how I want to grow in the future. And let me show you what that's going to look like, because I'm really, really excited for these gardens next year. So here, this is a medicinal herb. I'll put the name above because I can't think of it off the top of my head, but all these they're all sorts of food in here, and my strawberries. And then of course the weeds that I've taken over that I haven't fussed with. I'm usually meticulous about my permaculture landscaping, and I keep it cardboard layered with mulch, and I never have weeds. And so this is very painful for me, but I've had to just accept it's a season. So next year, this garden, now that we know we're going to grow full-time on the towers and not have no-dig garden beds anymore, this will expand out. There's rocks in here bordering this, and it's going to go into an outdoor kitchen area over there and just be absolutely gorgeous and draping with food. But the one important thing about this area, you've probably seen me do this on videos, I will take, let me see if I can find a good one. Let's walk over here. I will take my produce that is done, that's spent, or bad tomatoes, or whatever it is. And this is an aronia berry, very nutrient dense. Everything's dying back right now because of the time of year, it's cold. And I will toss like old tomatoes in here. That's my comfrey garden. That's medicine and chicken food. And what has happened is those tomatoes that I throw, the waste, have grown tomatoes all throughout this garden. Lots of things have done that. There's a kale that came from me throwing some scrap seedlings out. But look at here. These are all tomatoes. These probably won't have time to produce because we're getting cold really fast. But over here, you can see a bunch of them have produced. And I've been harvesting tomatoes out of this little area over the last 2 weeks, which is just super fun because it's bonus food. And that's the beautiful thing about a permaculture food forest. It's supposed to grow food without you, and that's what it's been doing. Just a little bit messy right now. This right here is kiwi. There's a male and a female. This is sorrel, absolutely amazing food. Blueberries throughout here. I have a honeyberry bush, and then we have the disaster. This is where my no-dig gardens were, and they are gone. This is my pear tree. I have a serviceberry tree and a cherry tree, and I've got blueberries and honeyberries along the wall here. And this was all garden, and we have taken it back. And next year we're putting in a new fire pit and a little outdoor eating area, and I've got my raised beds, and there's actually going to be some towers in this area where I grow all my pumpkins and things as well. I had said I wasn't sure if I was going to get rid of my no-dig gardens, and I wanted to just see if I missed them by not growing on them all summer, and if I missed them then we would get them back going. And I didn't. I actually didn't miss them at all. I want to grow the majority of our food on the towers. It's so much more enjoyable to me, and then do my permaculture food forest and kind of get this area just romantic and wild, full of food that I can't grow on the towers. And so I had my son mow them down, and so it's just been nice to have committed to that decision, because now we can work on making this space more our vision, and it just make this space like the next phase of our garden journey and fill the gaps of what I can't grow on the towers with the things over there. And I can devote more room to things like elderberries. We have them all wild in our forest, but it is nice to have them close to home to protect them from birds and things. So now I have space for those kind of plants where I didn't before because I needed to grow the food in the soil over there. So I'm super excited for next spring. I'll be planning that all winter long. Thanks for joining me on this garden tour, and I'll see you guys on the next video.